Hey everybody, Big Anklovich here, podcaster, author, and carnivore. And I'm here with another weekly update. It is October 29th, 2019, and we are finishing up week 23 of my journey to One-derland via carnivore and alternate day fasting. Although we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And you're watching Big Anklovich on health. All right, the first thing that we always do is we head over and we take a look at what the daily reports that I've recorded have to say. Let's check it out and see what Mr. Big Anklovich has to say about how his week went. Okay, it is Tuesday, which is day one of 1 meal a day week. So this morning when I got up, I waited until about 11:25, 11:30, something like that. I don't know. It's after 11. And I had myself my one meal. So what did I have? I decided I would go with the standard. And I had eggs and bacon. The bacon was really, really thick cut. I usually get the thick cut, but this stuff was like doubly thick cut. So I only actually ate 6 pieces, but I'm pretty sure that was still a whole pound of bacon. I had 4 eggs. They're not all there. I ate some of them before I took the picture. I also ate liver, which is also not pictured because I ate that before I remembered to take the picture. One thing I did realize, the liver that I cooked recently, didn't taste so good. It was a little livery. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of liver, and this stuff was not awesome. But I found you put some extra salt on it, and all of a sudden it made all the difference. The liver tasted just fine. So I had that, and then after I was done, I felt like I was still hungry, and so I got out some of those beef sticks that I had in last week's video that I had yesterday and the day before, and I had 2 of those. And then I went ahead and had a third one as well. So I ate 3 of the 4 that I had left. So I've got one of them left still hanging out. Maybe I'll finish them off tomorrow. But hopefully that wasn't too much food. That's one thing that I'm worried about is I'm used to eating 2 meals a day. And so I'm used to eating 2 meals worth of food a day. And I kind of feel the compulsion to still do that, still eat 2 meals worth of food. So we'll have to see if I can manage. That's the one thing I worry about with this 1 meal a day thing, is making sure that I don't eat too much on my 1 meal. Don't turn 1 meal into 2 just eating really quickly. So we'll see how that goes. I guess we'll check out how tomorrow happens. Okay, it is Wednesday, which is normally not an eating day, but today it is, because this is day 2 of the 1 meal a day week. And so today I had some food. I had some food at it was about 11:30. No, it was actually 12:30 about when I finally ate. And what I did was I fried up 1 1/3 pound of ground beef, put a bunch of salt on that, fried that up in a spoonful worth of ghee. And when I was done, I poured that out into a bowl, and then I poured the excess ghee down in there. And oh my gosh, let me tell you that tastes so good when you get to the bottom and there's that stuff just soaked in the ghee. That was yummy. Also on top, I decided, what the heck, I'll throw some hot dogs in too. So I took 3 little hot dogs that we had left over, stuck those into the frying pan as well, and fried those up. I don't know. I think I'm done with hot dogs. Those were not good ones. Maybe a good one would be okay, but those were not worth eating. And I probably could have done without them. I've been having so many issues with gas too. I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that I've eaten hot dogs. I also put some pepper on my ground beef. I wonder if it has anything to do with that. I don't know. Driving me crazy though. Okay everybody, it is Thursday, and apparently the big front is coming in, cold front coming in the morning. That will make it miserable and awful. Cold and rainy and all that stuff. So I figured, while I could, do one last lovely sunset shot for my daily report. So what did I do today? Let's see, I had bacon and eggs for breakfast along with a piece of liver. My last piece, I'm gonna have to get some more. And I had some bone broth to go with that. I used the bone broth basically to wash down the liver because I don't love it. Still admit I probably don't hate it anymore. Put some more salt on it and that really makes it a little more palatable. I wonder if there'll ever come a time when I'm like, yeah, I love liver. How long do you have to eat it before you get to love it? I don't know, but we shall see. So yeah, that's what I had for my one meal of the day. Had that right around 11:30 or so, maybe 11:45. Took me less than an hour to cook it and eat it all, and then I went back to fasting. So I've been fasting for several hours, and the one meal a day thing's working so far. Yeah, today you can see I'm wearing these pants. These pants are size 36 pants. I had these waiting around the house for a while, just for the time when I became skinny enough that I could fit them again. And here I am wearing them to work. Still a little tight when I sit down. Not a big fan of that. A little tighter than I like, we should say. They're not tight. They're just tighter than I enjoy. I've always been a guy who likes his pants pretty loose, pretty baggy. But that's not the cool style anymore. I just don't fit in the style. Anyways, it's cool. That's one of them non-scale victories, putting on old skinny pants. Gotta love that. Okay, it is Friday. And yeah, today was kind of a weird day. So far during this whole one meal a day thing that I've been doing, I haven't had any problems with hunger whatsoever. I'm barely hungry by the time it's time to eat again. And, you know, I've gotten so used to fasting for so long that it just doesn't seem to be a deal for me. But today was not like that. Today I was so hungry when it was time to eat, which is weird because usually today's a day I don't eat at all. And, you know, I'm usually hungry, but I usually just power through. But, oh, my gosh, it was awful. So I was out. We're going camping this weekend with, like, the Cub Scouts and everything. So we're supposed to be providing the part of the breakfast anyway. So our deal was the bacon. We had to get the bacon ready. And so I had gone to Costco and bought a couple of things of bacon, and I remember thinking while I was there, I should grab a hot dog while I'm here because I'm kind of hungry right now. But then I forgot to after I'd checked out, and I just left, and I was like, I'm not going back in there to get a hot dog. So just make something when I get home. I got in the car, drove home, and I needed to cook the bacon. We're just going to warm it up, I guess, on the stove or over the fire or whatever when we go camping on Saturday night or Sunday morning, I guess, when breakfast will actually be. So I started cooking that, and then I also got out my ribeye and I put it onto the skillet. I was going to cook it on the skillet. I was searing it on the skillet, and then the first batch of bacon was done. I pulled that out, stuck it in a container, put the next batch on, put it into the oven, and I was so hungry. I thought I'll just have a little of this bacon. So I had a couple bites of the bacon. I had a couple pieces. And we had, 8 pounds of bacon, so we weren't going to miss a few pieces. That should have been fine. But then I had a couple more pieces, and oh my gosh, I couldn't stop. I was hungry, and here it was, food. And so I just started chogging it all down. I ate all the first batch of bacon, and my steak wasn't anywhere close to being ready. And so eventually the second batch of bacon came out, put that into the container, and I started eating pieces of that. And I by the time I was done, I ate like a whole pound of bacon. And it was good bacon. It's truthfully a little better than the bacon I've been eating the rest of the week. They cut the bacon so thick on the thick cut bacon that I got this time around that it's like a bacon steak. Just just kind of weird. It doesn't get really crispy or crunchy that way, which is one of the things I like about bacon. So I ate just the first 2 batches of bacon that came out completely, and probably even a little bit of the 3rd batch. So, you know, this picture of bacon you see here is probably not a picture of all the bacon that I ate. I didn't even take this picture until after I'd eaten a whole bunch of bacon. So this is later after I put in a new batch. But yeah, I had to cook all this bacon to get it ready for the camp out, and I ate so much of it. Hopefully there'll be enough left over for all the people that'll be camping with us with the Cub Scouts. At a certain point, I was like, I have got to eat something else before I eat all this bacon. And I was looking in the fridge, what can I eat? And all I could see in there was cheese, and there's some cheese. I'm like, dang it, I'm trying to not eat cheese because dairy, I don't think, agrees with me. And so finally found some chicken. We'd gotten a rotisserie chicken like a week ago, and I'd stripped all the meat off of the bones, and we made bone broth, which I think I had yesterday, if I remember right. And the chicken was still sitting there, and so I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat this chicken. Some of the chicken. I couldn't eat all of it because there was a lot. But I pulled some of that, put it in a bowl, warmed it up, and ate that to try and stop the carnage as I slaughtered all that bacon. So yeah, that was my stopgap to stop the problem with the bacon. And eventually, finally, the steak was done. I didn't do a very good job cooking it. I'm trying to learn to cook steak a little bit better. I've just, thrown it on and then wait a while and pull it off. And sometimes it's good, and sometimes I swear it feels like it's raw. I'm trying to learn a little bit about how it works. I watched some videos, one that had like Gordon Ramsay in it.
Right, the guide to cooking a perfect steak.
And another one that just had any old dude.
And then I'm going to get ready to put a little bit of butter into the pan.
And several others that just had any old folks.
The perfect steak indoors.
The best steak that I'm ever going to have.
And learning a little bit about how to cook a steak, what's going to make it good, and what's going to make it tasty. And truthfully, this steak was really tasty. When I first pulled it off, it was a little underdone, so I put it back on and let it cook for a little while longer, and then pulled it off again, and then it was overdone. It was beyond rare or even medium rare and into medium well, but it was still tasty. I still liked it. It wasn't too chewy or anything like that. It wasn't too hard, so it was okay. But yeah, in the end, I guess I ate a lot of food today. I probably shouldn't have eaten so much dang food, but I was hungry, and so I ate until I was satisfied, and that's what you're supposed to do, right? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Been keeping an eye on my weight a little bit just to see if this 1 meal a day thing is destroying me or not. It's not destroying me, but it doesn't seem to be making the kind of progress that I usually do at this point in the week, so we'll have to see how it turns out in the end. Okay, it is Saturday, and I'm going out with my son camping, and so I'm not going to eat anything while I'm out here. What I did today was I had some ground beef. I got a thing of grass-fed ground beef. It's the good stuff. Well, better stuff anyways. And I fried that up in some bacon grease and cooked that all up, and that was pretty good. And then I also fried up like 4 eggs. And I mixed those all together, and that is really good. I'm a big fan of egg yolks mixed into beef or put on hamburgers or whatever. And so that's what I had for my meal. It was really early in the day, like 10 o'clock. We were supposed to be out the door to go camping, so I had that. And then, I've had to just turn anything that anybody offers me down here. We're here for like a Cub Scout camp, and just had to say no. And I'm supposed to be the guy making breakfast tomorrow morning, and it's bacon and eggs, but tomorrow is also my birthday, and so I think my wife has some kind of big dinner planned or something like that, so probably have to say no to the bacon and eggs too, because I'm supposed to eat 1 meal a day. So maybe I should have planned accordingly for my birthday, but oops. Okay, it is Sunday night, and today was my birthday. I was camping with my son this morning, woke up, and I was the guy that was in charge of breakfast, or at least half of breakfast. I was the bacon, half of the bacon and eggs. So I had cooked a whole bunch of bacon. I think I mentioned it in one of my earlier things. I cooked a whole bunch of bacon, ate a whole bunch of it too, but I brought the rest of it with me so that we could use it for breakfast at this thing. And I was not eating breakfast, so I just kind of prepared it. All I did was warm up the bacon so that people could have it. The funny thing was nobody ate anything. They told us to prepare for like 24 people, but they didn't mention that like 18 or 19 of those people were like children 10 years and younger. So I had way more bacon than I needed. So there was a lot left over, and I brought it home with me because I plan on eating a lot of it as this week goes on. But that will be a theme of today's eating log, having a lot left over, because when I got home, I decided, you know what? Screw this. It's my birthday. I'm going to have 2 meals today instead of just 1 meal. I know that kind of blows my experiment of 1 meal a day, but I guess I was the dumb one to put the experiment on the same week as my birthday. And I thought, you know what? Birthday, that warrants some excess. You know, it only happens once a year, except for them to have another birthday next week. Anyways, so I got the eggs and the bacon that was left over from that breakfast that we made, and I put it all on a plate, warmed it up, and I ate it. My wife looked at it and she's like, whoa, I thought you were just going to have like a little snack and then have a real meal later. That's a whole meal. Funny thing was, not for me. That big plate of eggs and bacon, I ate it and I was still plenty hungry when I was done with it. So it wasn't really that bad. But I was pretty tuckered out after having camped and had just crappy sleep and everything. Oh, so cold out there camping. We had like a cold front swoop in on Friday and it rained all day, and then it's just been really cold ever since. At night, it's actually been pretty pleasant during the day, but at night it's cold, and I was out there camping in the cold, and so I got just crappy sleep. So after eating that bacon and eggs, I took a nice nap, and it was a long one. And then I woke up several hours later, 3 to 4 hours later, and my wife had made barbecue. She just went all out on the barbecue for my birthday. So she had this big thing of brisket that she had slow cooked like all day in the oven, and then she also had a bunch of ribs that she also cooked, and let me tell you, that stuff was good. Here's the plate of meat that I ate, and that was some good stuff. And I chowed down, so I was pretty full. And my wife made so much of the brisket and ribs that I'm going to have tons left over to go with my bacon all week long. After dinner, I mentioned to my wife that I was considering, maybe I should have some kind of, some kind of keto type dessert, and I mentioned the cheesecake fluff. I used to eat that every now and then back when I was on keto last year, and decided we'd try it, so she whipped one up for me. So here's the fluff. It's my birthday cheesecake, so it had cream cheese, sour cream, and heavy whipping cream all whipped together with a little bit of vanilla. And then erythritol, I think, was the sweetener that she put into it. No, I haven't had anything like that hardly at all for a pretty long time. And I was not prepared for the sweetness of this stuff. Holy cow, it was so sweet. So I ate a little bit of that. Oh, and I put it on a chaffle. So I took some cheese and egg and put it together, and that's what I made my crust, and then I put that stuff on top of it, and it was pretty good, but it hit my stomach hard, and I felt kind of sick to my stomach for like 2 hours after that. I was just so over done with the sweetness of that stuff. I just couldn't handle it. And it eventually wore off. Luckily, we'll see how much, if it gives me any issues. I was, up until now, and for more than a week, I think, I haven't had any cheese. And then I just threw in a bunch of dairy. Cream cheese, whipping cream, sour cream, cheese from the chaffles, so all that stuff in there. Plus, I don't know what erythritol is made from, but I'm sure it's some kind of plant. And vanilla. It's supposed to be from a vanilla bean, but this isn't real vanilla, so I don't know. It's synthesized freaking chemical slop, I'm sure. But anyways, that's what I ate today. And I figured since I basically switched back to my normal 2 meals a day today, that I will also switch back and do alternate day fasting for the rest of the week. So tomorrow I'm not going to eat. I'm going to make it an all day fasting thing. So we'll see if that helps keep things going. So far it's been pretty good. I've actually been losing weight. I may stick with this 1 meal a day thing a little longer and see how it goes. Okay, it is Monday, and I changed things up, and I'm fasting the whole day through instead of just doing a 1 meal a day thing just for this day, since yesterday I changed things up and did 2 meals and a dessert. So yeah, we're trying that out. We're gonna see how it comes out. If things go well enough, I may try 1 meal a day one more week and see how that goes. I don't know. We'll see, I guess, when I weigh in tomorrow, find out how things happen. In fact, I think it's time for the weigh-in now, isn't it, Big Anklevich? That's right, Mr. Big Anklevich. Thank you very much for that amazing segue. Yes, it is time for the weigh-in now. Let's see how this week turned out. My goal for this week was 230 pounds. Did I make it? Did I break it? Let's see what happened. And there you go, 227.5 pounds. That's actually a fair amount under my goal for the week. What is that, 2.5 pounds below? I like that. That puts me at 3.7 pounds lost this week. I guess it must be a whoosh week. That's always cool. And that puts me at a total of 69.5 pounds since I started this journey back when I weighed 297 pounds. I'm almost exactly 70 pounds under. Now, I was just looking up for fun just to see something that might equal that, and 70 pounds is a lot of weight. Like they had a bunch of things. Like here, it weighs the same as 10 bricks. It'd be like carrying a stack of 10 bricks to be 70 pounds heavier than I am now, which means that I basically took a stack of 10 bricks and dumped them off of my back. That is nice. Or 7 gallons of paint. A gallon of paint is supposedly around 10 pounds, and I am now 70 pounds lighter than I was before. So it was as if I was carrying 7 gallons of paint in my hands. Can you imagine how wonderful that would be to be able to put weight like that down? I used to be a Boy Scout when I was younger, and we did a fair amount of backpacking. And when you go backpacking, they would recommend that you had 20% of your weight as the weight of your pack. And, in those days, I probably weighed 180 pounds, so that would be 35 pounds, maybe, something like that. That I used to try and pack my pack to be, which means it would be like me carrying a backpack over my shoulders and a second backpack on the front side all at once, every day, everywhere I went. And then one day, namely today, I ditched those backpacks and suddenly all that weight is gone. It's like I'm lighter than air. I could dance in the wind like a feather. That's what has changed in my life since I started this journey. When I was 297 pounds, that meant that I was 23.4% heavier than I am now. So it's coming along. I think I still have to get to about 30% lighter all around for it to be my final goal, but it's getting within sight. That's only 30 pounds away now. That's only, 3 gallons, 3 more gallons of paint that I got to ditch. Or 4.5 bricks. Only one more backpack. That third backpack that I was wearing, I need to dump. That's pretty exciting. And it's pretty exciting to have a whoosh week, to lose 3.7 pounds in 1 week. And if you might remember, this week was an experimental week for me because I decided to try again, after having failed the first time around, to try again to do 1 meal a day, or OMAD. And once I, shook off my old habits of wanting to eat more on the days that I eat, and just getting myself down to a regular sized meal per day, I found it to be surprisingly easy. And the fact that it worked so well is kind of shocking. It was so easy to eat just 1 meal a day. I almost never, ever got hungry, except for that one day when I was making the bacon and it was time for me to eat and I was super hungry and I scarfed everything in sight. But otherwise, I almost never got hungry doing the 1 meal a day thing. So I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to try it for 1 more week and see if it continues to work, or did it work so well just because it was the week in which I was going to lose a lot of weight. It was the whoosh week. We shall see. But I'm going to do it for another week and just see how it goes, try it out. I can't complain. I do like to eat still, and eating every day is more times than not eating every day. And so I like it. And eventually when I finally do get to where I'm going in my goal, I will most certainly stop doing alternate day fasting and switch over to a 1 meal a day thing for maintenance to keep myself at the right weight. So maybe I can just do that from the start and lose my weight that way. It will definitely be beneficial for me during the winter because I'm always cold on days I'm doing alternate day fasting. The one day, Monday this week, that I did do that, my hands were icicles. They were so cold. I think it has more to do with the way they crank down the air conditioning at my office, because they got a whole lot of equipment in there that generates a whole lot of heat, and they got to keep the air going. Otherwise, some of that stuff's going to overheat and break down. So they don't want that to happen. So they do keep the air conditioning on pretty high. So I'm not the only one that's cold. But I am still pretty cold on days that I fast. So I'm hoping that over the winter, especially now that it's gotten cold all the time and I can't retreat out to my car and sit in the sun-warmed car cab to warm myself up, I'm hoping that maybe eating 1 meal a day will be something that I can keep losing weight with and then just keep doing it because it's warmer. I guess we shall see, because that's what I'm doing this week for the second week in a row. So we will try that out. Now, my goal for this week was going to be 228, but since I've surpassed that, I'm going to have to jack it down to 226, which would have been my goal for next week. So that's cool. That's gaining back a week when I had been losing a week in the past. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, I can't complain. I had my birthday this week, and sort of cheated on my birthday. I mean, I ate an extra meal, so that's definitely a cheat. Although I made up for it, I guess, by fasting a full day instead of a 24-hour thing. And then I also had that cheesecake stuff, which had artificial sweetener in it, and it still didn't kill me. So I'm pretty pleased with how things went altogether. Generally, birthdays are time when things go out the window and all your progress just gets pissed away. So I'm glad that wasn't the case this year, and I'm going to keep it up, because coming up I've got Thanksgiving, I've got Christmas, I've got the Christmas season in which you are bombarded by sweets. Heck, Halloween is on right now. My kids have already gone to some Halloween events, come home with candy that's just sitting around the house everywhere, and all that stuff is going to be in my face over the next while, so it's good that I can manage to deal with it. And that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to deal with it, and I'm not going to give in. I'm not going to pig out on any of that stuff. And after all, when I ate the cheesecake and the sweetness hit my stomach, I was immediately sick to my stomach, almost nauseous with how intense the sweetness was. I just couldn't handle it. My wife made a big, you saw in the picture, it was a big plate, a big platter, whatever you want to call it, container of cheesecake. I ate probably a quarter of that at most. And then I was just like, I can't even come close to eating anymore. I'm throwing the rest of this stuff away. And so I just had to pitch it. I felt bad. It was a waste of cream cheese, sour cream, heavy cream, and I don't know, it's erythritol, which I guess erythritol is probably a waste to begin with. But anyways, I wasted all that food, but I could not eat it. It was probably not something that I should have ever dipped into in the first place. But anyhow, yes, coming up this week, goal of 226, and I'm going to hit it. And it's going to be fun. And we're just going to keep at this journey, keep on down the path until we make it to One-derland, because that's where I'm headed. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this show. We'll see you next time here on Big Anklevich on Health.